What up, y'all? It's Chris Weathers, aka Shorty C94, checking back in for another episode of Shorty Sneaker Conversations. This is episode 98. 98. Can't believe I've done 98 of these things. Man. Well, let's see if we can get our guest. Okay. What's up, Ken? What's up, Kay? Let's talk kicks. Okay. DJ Money.
There we go.
There we go. Okay. An eye for kicks. KL in the building. What's going on?
Chilling. Getting ready to talk about sneakers. You know, that's what every sneakerhead does best, right?
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you for being here today. You know, I've been seeing you, obviously on the Sneaker Addicts group on Facebook and, Who Has the Heat, a couple places. So it's good to have you aboard. Everybody knows who you are, but for those who may not, you mind introducing yourself to everyone?
I'm an eye for kicks. I have my YouTube channel, Instagram, of course. I'm a female sneakerhead that likes to be fully transparent, let everybody know, where I get my sneakers, tips and tricks on how to even cop under retail sometimes. I just want everybody to know how it works, especially for the newcomers. I was new once, we all were, and everybody needs a little help learning, where to start and how to start your sneaker collection.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. All right, so before we get into the sneakers, I do have to ask you, what's the most positive thing you've been able to take from the world since the pandemic started?
100% starting my YouTube channel, my brand, starting an Eye for Kicks. All of that started during the pandemic because we were quarantined. You have more time to focus on yourself.
For sure. Okay. Well, we'll just jump into quarter one, sneaker beginnings. I have to ask, what is kind of like your first sneaker memory, your first sneaker moment with sneakers?
I think my first moment with sneakers was growing up. I was always into Converse, and I know you can appreciate Converse. Not a lot of people can anymore, but I know you can. I was one of 4 girls growing up. We weren't poor or anything, but that's a lot of kids to buy Jordans and stuff for. So I loved Converse. They always had the different prints, the different colors, the different patterns, and that was always an easy birthday or Christmas gift. I mean, I had every last one of them, something to match every single outfit. But yeah, that was, because I feel like I didn't start collecting until recently, but I have to remind myself that I did the Converse thing when I was in like middle and high school, and those are still sneakers.
Yeah, they are. Well, I appreciate that, the love for Converse. Converse is a rich brand. I kind of wish Nike would do a lot more with them than just the Chucks, but that's a whole other episode there. So, but do you rock with Converse now still, or you kind of like, nah? Or?
I've definitely fallen off of Converse. I have one pair. I will admit that I feel like now I lean toward rocking, more hype stuff, Jordan stuff that I wanted when I was growing up. I honestly, my pair of Converse that I have is still dead stock. I have a pair, it's the Space Jam pair, the one with all the cartoon characters on both sides of them. I even got like a t-shirt to match and everything, but I haven't gotten a chance to break them out yet.
That's fair enough. I've only worn my pair of those once, so I'm with you,
I don't feel so bad now.
Now, don't get mad to be asking you this, but with you saying you rock hype stuff, and I have seen you in quite a bit of hype. Would you consider yourself a hype beast?
Not at all. Because, and I'll explain why, because everybody, nobody's going to claim to be a hype beast because it's such a negative connotation to it, especially as a sneakerhead. But the reason I say not at all is because I think you know, people see me wearing my Off-White and oh, you know, she's a hype beast. But stuff like that, like Off-White will always be one of my favorite brands. You know, I have like studied Virgil's designs. I have his book, the bright green one, the Something's Off. You know, I'll pick up used pair of his shoes. Like I don't care if it's his shoes, his sunglasses, his shirts. I just genuinely love his mind as a designer. So yeah, it happens to be considered a hype brand or a hype collab, but it's so much deeper for me. Like he was probably on my, like, the top of my list of people that I would love to meet, just so I could have not only been able to say, yes, I met Virgil, but to be able to pick his brain on how he comes up with these designs. And like, obviously his inspiration is like very like literal streets and signs and industrial stuff with your zip ties, but it's just so much deeper for a lot of, you know, the hype stuff.
Okay. Okay. And I did know that, but somebody in the comments did put that you are an artist as well. So, you know, we will touch on that a little later. Okay. Okay. So after Converse, you know, you got a little older. What was that next sneaker that was just like, all right, I'm in this, you know, like this is the life we chose?
So I want, like a couple years ago, not even a couple years, more than that. Like when I started really collecting, I decided, you know what? I'm grown. I have adult money now that I'm making. Like I can go buy whatever shoe I want in the store. And I wanted a pair of Jordans. And I had yet to really get into the whole, you know, understanding retros and everything. And so I just went in the store and I picked up a pair that I thought were really cool. I liked the color. It's very similar to like the Jordan 1 silhouette, but it was like a Team Jordan. And I liked it. And I was like, all right, cool. Like now I have a pair of Jordans in the collection. But I think what really sealed it in for me was my first Sneakers W, which, listen, anybody that does, you know, the sneakers drops, and you know, getting a W on sneakers will hit different no matter what. But it was the Chinese New Year sixes that I hit on, and I just remember feeling like I've got this exclusive shoe on the way. The details are crazy. You can't get this in stores. And even though a lot of the men's sizes in that sat in stores on the shelves, you couldn't get a grade school size. So it's still, you know, I still had that sense of, this is exclusive, this is amazing, like, all right, I need my next hit. And it just kind of took off from there.
I got you. I feel like once I saw that shoe come out, I was like, well, it won't be long until they actually come back with the DMP. And they did it.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Now that you've gotten to that point of, we'll start with that Chinese New Year 6, what, let me ask that another way. What shoe would you say has been kind of your go-to as far as silhouettes since you've, you know, been collecting?
I feel like my main silhouette right now are 1s and 4s as far as Jordan goes, but I do find myself getting heavy into dunks, and not just like, you know, the Nike dunks, like the Pandas and, you know, the UNLV or, you know, stuff like that. But like I've been getting really big into the SB dunks just because of, you know, the details that they have, and that goes to the whole, you know, creative aspect that I have with the sneakers. So dunks a lot I've been rocking, but 1s and 4s as far as Jordans go.
Okay. Okay. Now, what's kind of that silhouette, since you've been in this, that you don't really rock with that everybody, you know, loves?
I feel like right now 3s are becoming very, very popular. Because I don't know that there's a silhouette that I don't rock with, because it's well, I don't really rock with anything beyond a 14. But I think as long as the colorway hits just right, I'll wear it. but I feel like a lot of people have been jumping on threes lately, and I like threes. I have threes, but I'm not like, it's not my ultimate go-to. It's not the first silhouette that I'm gonna grab.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. See, to me, I feel like for the longest time it was ones and threes, and it kind of morphed over in the last couple of years to the four. Four has always been popular, but I don't feel like it's been as universally loved as much as it's been here lately with not necessarily you or I, but like with younger audiences.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
so
It's taken off in a big way recently. And then, you of course you've got every major collab jumping on fours anymore. And everybody always says though the fours are the pinky toe killer, but they still gonna rock them and have that pinky toe hurting. So
nah, it's to me for me that's kind of every pair is different. Some fours bother my pinky toe, some don't. You
yep.
know, so it just kind of depends on how they're made, or I should say when they're made. Like if I wear the Columbia 4 or like the Oreo 4, they're okay. You know, that was when they first started to remaster. But if I wear like a newer pair, sometimes it can be a little rough.
Oh, for
So,
sure.
you know. Now, I saw, you know, I saw your battle. Um, and I know you had showed the Lola sevens as your oldest pair that you have.
Yep.
So how say you rock those?
You say how often do I rock those?
Yeah, like in a year, how much would you pull those out?
I think I've worn them maybe two or three times since I've had them. Um, Honestly, because the thing is, it's so hard once you have so many pairs of shoes. Like I get to wear shoes to the office, sneakers. My boss knows that I'm a sneakerhead and knows that I do YouTube. She's like, you know what, just wear your sneakers. Just dress business casual and wear your sneakers. But it's still hard, like to make the right outfit work for the office. So I really only get to wear whatever sneaker I want on the weekend. So it makes it really hard to decide. And those, I mean, they're kind of tucked away. I picked those up mostly because I needed a seven. Like I was on the mission to get all the silhouettes 1 through 14, and that was the only seven that I was like, I really like these. And now you can't find a Lola, Jordan 7 out there in my size. And my sister-in-law wants a pair. She's like, yo, those are hot. I need them. And I'm like, I can't find them. And she's
Yeah,
not getting mine.
yeah. I like that shoe enough where if it would have been made in men's sizes, I probably would have, purchased them myself. There have been a couple of good GS7s. Like there was a pair that came out when I used to work for DTLR. They were white and gray and like purple and teal, kind of like how the women's eights look, but it was a seven, and they were just
Okay.
so where I would say that every day when I would go to work. Man, I would wear these if they made these for men. So you know, I got love for the seven, so that kind of stuck in my mind there. I'm like, oh, okay, when you pull those out for the who has the heat. So, I figured I would ask you about them on here.
Yeah, sevens don't get enough love at all. Like I feel like that's sevens and maybe 14s, unless it's like a retro like colorway, like an OG colorway. I feel like those are the ones that you see sitting most often anymore, which is crazy. But I mean, everybody's got their preferences, I guess.
Yeah, I also felt that way about the eight. The eight used to get a lot of love, but it doesn't really get love anymore.
Yep.
So, okay, okay. Now, going back to back in the day when you first started like working, you've been in the sneakers for a while. Do you remember the first sneaker you bought with your own money?
Um, it may have been that Team Jordan because yeah, I really can't think. It was like I went from getting Converse from my mom for my birthday to just buying that Team Jordan because I feel like there was like a gap in there that I was buying like some knockoff sneakers at like Payless or Rainbow because I was making money but it wasn't in the right you know tax bracket I guess to buy some Jordans or something. So yeah, probably that Team Jordan.
Okay, okay. Now that's a good one. Now, um, I should have let in with this, and I actually forgot to ask you earlier. But in the area where you're from, what's the sneaker situation like there? With the sneaker scene, the sneaker culture.
Well, I'm in South Florida. I'm like 30 minutes from Miami. So the sneaker scene down here is crazy. Um, I mean, there's resellers everywhere. There's constantly new ones popping up. I'll be scrolling through Instagram and all of a sudden a new resale shop that's like 30 minutes away. And I'm like, all right, now I know where I'm going this weekend. Um, there's definitely no shortage of, accessibility when it comes to sneakers. It's more just about what you're willing to pay because getting them for retail is, I mean, getting them for retail anyhow anymore seems to be difficult. But when you're in an area that got a heavy sneaker culture, it's even harder. So, but again, it's all about what you're willing to pay. You can get the sneaker if you'll pay for it.
Nah, I got you. I got you. Okay. So, with you being so close to Miami, when Miami was last good still with the Heat, winning championships. Of course, LeBron and D Wade were down there. Do you mess with any LeBrons at all?
I have a couple pairs. I just feel like, to me personally, LeBrons tend to be a little bit bulkier looking on me, so I don't really go for them. But there are a couple of pairs that, like I said before, if the colorway hits just right, any shoe can kind of attract me to it, like grab my eye. So I got a couple pairs, but I really don't have any like Heat LeBrons. Like I don't have South Beaches. I don't have Big Bangs. Some of the battles I really wish that I did, but we don't buy sneakers. You're not supposed to buy sneakers for battles. You're supposed to buy what you like and use those to battle.
Sure. That was that was a little kerfuffle in the battle there. You know what I'm saying? I was thinking about
Lord.
I asked this, but what Van shoe would you have pulled out for that?
Oh, I pulled it. I actually at one point showed the Vans because I didn't want, I didn't want More to be like, oh, well, she didn't even pull one because that's what you're supposed to do, even if the other person doesn't have. But I have one pair. I have one pair because I wanted them. I thought they were cute. They're different.
I remember now. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I like those.
But, I just, honestly, at the end of the day, like I keep saying, with who has the heat, it's ultimately their call. So if they chose to not go back to that question, then I would have respected it because it's their show. They have the ultimate call of how things are supposed to go. I just got lucky that they felt that it was only right to go back to it. So,
yeah, who has the heat has been very what's the word I want to use? It's been very educational for me at how sneaker battles really work because I had been in a few battles before and I had won a tournament, but it wasn't to the level of intensity of who has the heat. So I got a little far last season. I got in the Final Four and I lost, but I didn't know how everything worked. You know what I mean? So now I'm kind of like up on it where I'm like looking at battles like, damn, what would I pull? During
Yep. I'd be going to my closet, opening up. All right, if I had this question, do I have a shoe that would, fit the criteria? I'm like, all right, I got a couple of them. I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's yeah, it's been really good, and it makes you think. You really got to use your mind because I'm struggling. Like the first battle I was in there, I was like running all over the house and then running back. I'm like, man, just take your phone with you, because I like house looking for stuff. My wife looking at me crazy, like, So
what are you doing?
Yeah. So, it's been good, and I hope that you come back for the next season because I feel like you'll have something for whoever you go up against.
Oh yeah, I mean, I love battling at the end of the day. Show me a sneakerhead that doesn't love showing off their kicks. I mean, come on, you and I are both in Facebook groups that's literally what the groups are for, is just showing off your kicks. And you can show off the fits in the Facebook groups too. But
Mm.
that's really, at the end of the day, it's just fun to do. I just wish, I feel like with money tournaments, it's better to ask like black and white questions, like ones that don't require too much creativity, like a 90s basketball shoe or show me a van. But I love the questions that, require more creativity, like Hop had asked, show me a shoe that Snuffleupagus would wear. I love stuff like that because that lets me use that creativity that I have, you know, paired with the sneakers and really come up with something and make people be like, like I didn't even think about that, but it's perfect.
Yeah, yeah. It's fun, and like I said, it really makes you think. Like some of the people in the comments have said, my homie Keith said, it makes you appreciate your collection. She's still in said tournament, so you know, hopefully, hopefully she can win. But I feel like you really be more, a run for his money with that. Props to
Well,
you.
and that's I just love that because I feel like, and not everybody, but I feel like a lot of people still, a lot of the guys still kind of sleep on the females when it comes to, the collection and what they have. So it's always extra fun when I feel like I'm making these guys that are up there in the sneaker community, like everybody knows their collection is fire, and I'm making them sweat. Like I see that little bead of sweat, I was like, all right, I'm doing my job. Like I'm doing what I came here for.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, and that actually leads me to my next question. With you being a lady into sneakers, you got a lot of sneakers, a lot of sneakers. Um, what challenges do you feel like you may face in the sneaker community with it being such a male dominated, thing? Like, you feel like that happens a lot where they don't take you as serious, other collectors?
I feel like not so much anymore, just because I've been on so many different platforms. I've done so many different interviews. I've pulled so many different pairs that people are realizing that, yes, I like new releases and I like hype, but I also like OGs. Like I can pull out plenty of OGs, or I can pull out plenty of like rare stuff that people either haven't seen or haven't had. But definitely that was my biggest struggle in the beginning, was proving myself, because my first ever battle, which was on the Trap House, that I feel like that was the one where nobody knew who I was. I had just started trying to break out into the sneaker game, in the community, and nobody knew who I was. Nobody knew what I had. Like everybody thought that, oh, I'm gonna be able to come in here and, destroy her off rip or whatever. And I feel like I've done a good job so far proving myself, but I'm still not done yet. I'm not done until everybody knows, like, all right, that's an eye for kicks.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Now, I will say, because I talk about it quite a bit on the show, I'm still not used to GS being a resale thing. I'm used to grade school sizes being around forever. I've managed for a lot of different shoe store companies, so I'm used to maybe 6.5 and 7 being gone if it's a hot Jordan, but 6 and below just kind of hanging around. Um, what size are you, and how do you feel about resale?
I'm a size 8.5 women or 7 grade school, depending on the shoe. Some shoes I have to go for a men's 7, obviously if they don't release below that. But there are certain silhouettes, like I'll say even the black cement 3. Threes tend to run small for me. And so I really wish that I had gotten a men's size 7, but then at the same time, I'm like, man, that would have been extra bread that I had to spend on that. So it's like my toes can look like this a little bit. It won't be that bad. But that's why like I like a lot of the women's exclusives, like certain silhouettes like that, 3s and 14s. I was like, I just need a women's exclusive, and then they came out with them, and it's crazy like the difference in sizing. But I feel like I feel like a lot of the grade school sizes don't sit anymore because you have a lot of women that are really getting into it, that are, and then you've got the resellers that are buying them all up because they know that, if a female has a man and she's into sneakers, odds are if she's not going to pay the bread, he's going to pay the bread to get her the shoe. And then you've got a lot of, younger kids that are really getting heavy into it. And then, of course, a lot of young kids are resellers anymore, too. And they're just buying everything up to kind of like control the market. If you can't find it on shelves, that means you're going to pay for it somewhere. And they figure they might as well be with them.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of everything.
I got you. Yeah, that I'll just say, working for Converse now, that the women's 8.5 is tough for us to even keep in, and white and black high tops. It's a very uniform size. So I don't know. It's still weird that resale for grade school is what it is. Especially a lot of times y'all shoes be more valuable than our sizes. So
yeah, size 7 is crazy, man. I'm like, wait a second, this ain't right. I'm gonna have to sit on this. Yeah, it's crazy.
And then when I really started introducing, like, I really feel like I didn't start seeing a lot of men's 7s. It kind of started with the pink foam posit in 2012, but really not until the remaster, like 2015, 16, where I started getting a lot of men's 7s and 7.5s in the stores I was running. But they're kind of a unicorn, to find. And then when I would have them, I would have to explain to people, which would be kind of frustrating, why this shoe is $190 and this shoe is, $120 or whatever it is. And with foams is easy because they look so different, but with certain Jordans, exactly, like 11s look exactly the same.
It's just like such a slight difference in how it fits, and you're paying X amount more. But yeah, it is definitely like that unicorn size because you can't, 9 times out of 10, you're not going in a store on release day and being able to, or you can't go in and get them anymore. You're not going to be able to reserve a size 7 on release day anymore. You've got to try it and hope that you can hit it on sneakers, or you're paying resale if you need that men's 7. So it's tough to find those for sure. And it's frustrating.
How do you feel about paying? I mean, nobody wants to pay resale, but are you for it, against it, just kind of whatever, or does
I'll do what I got to do to get a pair of shoes. But I'm also not opposed to used pairs, and I know there's plenty of people out there that are like, ew, you're putting your foot in somebody else's, shoe that they've worn, or whatever the case may be. But it's like, you pick your battles. Do you want to buy a shoe that is gently used and you're saving several $100s on, or do you need to have it dead stock? Now, if you got the money for it, go for it. But I don't always have the money, so if I find a pair that's used, I go on eBay, I go on StockX. Yes, I still use StockX here and there. But I do what I got to do to get a shoe that I want.
Okay. Now we did have a question from the comments. Mr. Quinn Lover Hayes 2021 asked you, what's your favorite shoe of all time?
Favorite shoe of all time? Right now, I'd probably have to go with the Off-White 2, the white with red. That would be my favorite all-time shoe right now, and it's because Virgil elevated that shoe and put the history into it with that, the cracked sole and the autograph. It's not just a shoe. It's like a wearable piece of artwork. And again, that's why I loved his stuff so much. It wasn't just shoes, it's art.
Okay. No, I definitely get it. I figured you might say you're full, and then you showing us cracking, Off-White 2. I figured you might say the 4, but I can see that.
That's a close second. Don't get me wrong. That put me through a lot of emotions, the Off-White 4, but I would put the 2 above that. But the 4 just tends to get more love because people love that silhouette. A lot of people still aren't on the wave of 2s, or they think, oh, you just jumped on the 2 wave. But I mean, I had Wing It twos like in the early stages of my collection because I thought they were cool and I wanted something different. So I don't do twos just because they're hype now.
I appreciate that as somebody who was on twos beforehand. That Wing It too. I mean, I really should wear it more than I have, but it's probably my favorite two from that 2016 set, other than the OG low top. So, the only one I really could do without is the Radio Raheem's, and I wouldn't even mind having those now with the blue and everything. So, yeah.
Okay.
The all red ones too. I was against those when they came out. I was like, how could they make this? But I wish I had them now. So,
It's crazy how pairs will just grow on you, like years down the line. Like all of a sudden it's like, you know what? I kind of do mess with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't want you to get upset at me asking you this, but I have to
You're
ask,
good.
why nothing past 14?
I just haven't found something that catches my eye past a 14. And honestly, I was recently looking like, because I like to look and see like, okay, is there anything in any type of colorway that, I'm like, okay, maybe I would love to add to the collection. Is there something that's growing on me? And I just haven't found that silhouette yet. 15s I can't do because that thing just it looks like the tongue like at the top. Like that's just weird to me. So that would have to do some serious growing on me, but I just haven't found anything that caught my eye that far yet.
No, I get you. I mean, I'm probably going to offend some people when I say this because 15s get more love now than they ever have. But to me, the 15 is still the worst Air Jordan ever made. But that's just me. At the time, I have all but one of the OG colors just because at the time I was like 19, 20 when they came out, and I was just buying every color because I could. You know what I mean? So I still have a lot of that old, but it had to be a really nice 15 for me to consider buying it now. I think the only one I would probably buy over again would probably be the UNC color, the white with the UNC. My pair is oxidized as fuck, so I'd like a fresh pair. Them plastic and rubber parts are very yellow. So, but yeah, so that's fair. I mean, I know a lot of the stuff past 14, even 14. Some people don't go past 13. So I appreciate you going, even to the 14 because the 14 was kind of a lukewarm shoe, even when it was the new Jordan. So,
Yeah, the 14s, I had to get that last shot. And I got lucky when I started collecting because a lot of OG colorways were retroing right as I started. So, like, the Black Cement 3s, the last shot 14s, the Concord 11s, the Bread 11s, like all of that started. I wore the Concords for my wedding. Like I got married in those and it came out like a month before. So I was like, well, this is freaking perfect timing. But that last shot 14, I liked 14s when I put that on, but like I said before, it just fit a little too small. So then I had to get that Aleli May, women's exclusive that she did, that tan with that like marble jade look to it and things. I tell you what.
no, it's nice. I mean, whenever my wife breaks out her pair, I do look at it like, I could wear those. Yeah, but I don't know. Finding men's or women's Jordans over a size 12, I can fit a 12 in some of them, but I'm really closer to a men's 12, so I have to find like a women's 13. It's a little tough. So, but I got you. Now, I know that you are married. Is your, significant other into sneakers as well?
Oh yeah. It's definitely like a complete joint, effort. I mean, which is great because there's no hiding packages that get delivered. There's no hiding. If we get 3 pairs of shoes delivered in one day, it's exciting. It's not like, all right, where the hell am I going to hide these? So, they're not seen and I don't get in trouble. We got sneakers, we got the containers all over our room because it doesn't fit all in the closet. I mean, it's amazing. Like I absolutely love it. And he has some like original pairs of sneakers, like the original Space Jams and stuff like that. So he definitely helped fuel that, love. But we kind of fed off of each other. So yeah, we're both all in on it.
So who has the better collection?
I do.
You do? Okay.
I yes, but in his defense, that's because he'd rather, spend money to buy me pairs instead of get himself pair. Like there might be a handful of times a year that he finds a shoe that he's like, oh, I really need this shoe, and then we make it happen to get it for him. But every other release, he's focused on trying to get it for me, which is great. But I'm still like, man, I want to reciprocate like the love. Like let me hook you up the way you hook me up. He just makes it difficult.
Yeah, I have to fall on the sword quite a few times for my wife because it's something where I know, like, it's funny you brought up that Aleli May 14 because that's probably the most, other than the Grinches, that's probably the most upset I've seen her over a shoe that she wasn't able to get right away. But there have been times where I'm like, man, I kind of want these bitches myself, but she wants them. She been talking about them. I'm gonna look like an asshole if I say, man, I want to get them too. Like it happened with the Mason Chateau Rouge twos. Like, but long as she's, because
She'd never let you live that down either. Like, man, you knew I wanted those. Why you did that?
yeah. I mean, we do a show every week called Purchase or Pass where we talk about the shoes we're going to try to get each week. We do it on Sundays, and it's been some times where I've gotten lambasted by her and some of the people in these comments like, man, you said you didn't like those. You know what I'm saying? So it does happen. But I'm gonna say my wife, she has a lot of stuff I wish I had, so she might actually have me on whose collection is better. I've got way more shoes, but I feel like her quality kind of overtakes my quantity. So
Okay. All right. Because I know you got some good stuff too, so that means she got some great stuff.
yeah.
All right.
So, but okay. So we're both in Sneaker Addicts and other Facebook groups. What's your favorite Facebook group, to be in with the sneakers?
I'm torn. I really like For the Love of Sneakers, just because I feel like that was like one of the first groups that I was in. I've met so many people that I communicate with. I've met in person through that group. Um, but I feel like Sneaker Addicts is fun because you get a lot of people like trying to, trash talk in there. Like it's not all just you get both sides of it. And I know they you know, try to cancel that out a little bit, but it is always fun to see people just be blatantly honest. Like if you don't love a shoe, you don't have to sit there and be like, oh, that's so fire. Like you can say however you feel about it. So that's probably the two, but I'm in so many, it's crazy.
Nah, I feel you on that. I feel the same way. I had to leave a few because I'm like, there's nothing going on here. They only post once or twice a year. Like, let me get out of here. I've been in this group since 2012. Let me get out of here. I will say, for me, the one shoe I probably get the most hate on when I post it, it's a Converse. It's it's called the Run Star Motion. So it's like it's got a zigzag sole. It's a crazy
I
looking.
feel like I know what you're talking about. I feel like
Yeah,
I've seen you post this one, and I know.
yeah, because it's popular mostly among women, but it's a unisex shoe, and it's very comfortable. I have plantar fasciitis, so it's got the CX foam, which is really just Nike React rebranded. But I know, like, I'm considering wearing it tomorrow. Like, I know if I wear it, I'm gonna get a lot of hate, but I don't care.
Then I respect that because staying true to what everybody else can have their opinions.
Yeah. Oh my God. Why the Converse? Hey man, I work for Converse. So I gotta show love. They're my employer. Yeah. But
Well,
yeah. But when we talk about the game, today, everybody talks about L's. Everybody, encounters L's. What's the hardest L that you've had to take?
as far as like an actual like you didn't get them on sneakers or an actual or like a shoe that I got and then it didn't make it to me, or like what specifically, because there's so many types of L's anymore, between, you know, actually hitting on them and not receiving them because shipping craziness. So what kind of L we want here?
Well, you can give me one of each. You know, we could split it down the middle. What was the hardest L you took, you know, on sneakers or confirmed or whatever? And then what was something that was supposed to come to you that never made it because it was laser ship or some sort of fuckery with FedEx or whoever, you know?
Hardest L on sneakers, that's hard because of the fact, like I said, I'll do what I gotta do. If I want a shoe bad enough, I'll pay resale. I'll do a couple customs to get it. I think maybe my most surprising L, I could do that on sneakers, might have been for the ready-made blazers, because I was just so shocked. Like, I really did not think, I didn't hear nobody talking about that shoe. There was no hype behind it other than it's a collab. But I was like, all right, this shoe is different. Like, maybe I can get a nice W because nobody else seems to be caring for these. And then all of a sudden they were gone. And I'm like, how did I take an L? Like, I was hoping, you know, something different. So I think that was the most surprising. But my hardest L across the board, and I've talked about this before, are my off-white fours, 100%, because I hit on those on sneakers. Like, I got the, you know, got them screen. They shipped out to me and everything. And I had recently moved, so my zip code was off by 1 digit, and that was on my bad. But I called Nike to try to change it. I called, you know, all the different, you know, I called FedEx. I think it was FedEx at the time, and tried to have it changed. But actually, let me back up. I lied, because I didn't realize it happened until they tried to deliver it. And then I tried to intercept them everywhere, because they said that it was undeliverable. And then when we called, they were like, oh, yeah, they were rejected. You know, we tried to deliver them, but the person or whoever rejected them said they didn't want them, or some craziness. And I'm like, what? Like, first of all, those words never came out of my mouth. You didn't, I don't know where you delivered them to, but we tried everything. I called Nike like daily, like, hey, listen, there's a pair of shoes that are supposed to be on their way back up. I need them rerouted back to me ASAP. And if you've ever called Nike, the customer service reps don't have a clue about the sneaker game. Like, that's just a job for most of them. And they every time they pull it up, oh yeah, these shoes are really nice. Yeah, these are really cool. I like these too. Yeah, okay, great. Like, are you gonna help me get them back? And the minute they hit that warehouse, I called them and they're like, oh, well, we can't find them. Yeah, because whoever grabbed them knew what they were, and they're like, oh, well, we can just say that they're, you know, we never received them, or they got lost in shipping or whatever, and then they can do whatever they needed to do with them. Like, that one hurt so bad.
Yeah, that sounds awful. I'm sorry that you went through that.
But I got them.
You do have them.
I paid for them, but I got them.
Yeah. Whew. I'll tell you, my hardest L, and it was a surprise at the same time.
I was gonna say, I know you got one for us.
Oh yeah, the Flint Grey 13, because it's such a regular shoe. Like, I have every other Flint 13 that's ever come out, the 98, the 05, the 10. I wanted to make a video. I mean, I wanted the shoes as well, a fresh pair, but I wanted to make a video for my YouTube channel comparing all 4 pairs, because they're all very different. But I couldn't pay resale for that shoe. And, you know, pre-pandemic mind, I'm thinking, oh, well, it's full family. It's going to be a million of them. You know, we remember we used to think like that. Like, oh, it's full family. It shouldn't be hard. But that was the shoe that let me know that the pandemic affected the sneaker game, because those would have sold, but not like how they did. Not to the point where I'd have been taking, because I can't really get dunks on sneakers. I've only won one. It's hard for me to get runners, but I always usually get Jordans that aren't ones. Usually, you know. So that was a hard L to take, because up through the pandemic, you could get the Court Purples, you could get the DMP6, you could get the Fire Red 5s, you could just get them. You know, some places with the pandemic, you know, they pass it to you through the door or whatever. But this one, I couldn't believe I wasn't able to get it for it to be such a regular shoe, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Do you have any crazy shipping stories or issues that you've had? Or have you been pretty lucky with that?
I have been fortunate. Though anytime I see laser ship, I get a little worried. I'm like, oh, this ship might not come. Hopefully it does. Like my wife and son both got Citrus Sevens this weekend because they sat a
They,
while.
they have no mold on them, right? You
Oh,
see,
I haven't even.
you see that video, right?
Yeah, I heard about that. Hopefully they don't. Um, but that's probably gonna be one of my next YouTube videos, is comparing my pair from '06 that I still wear to their pairs because I didn't like them enough to buy them over again myself. And I
That's fair.
a good black shoe that wasn't some Vans or some white or some black Air Force Ones to go to school in. So I'm like, you know, you get these. So
Nice little pop of color to it as well. All right.
you know, match most of his clothes, but I didn't like him enough to buy him over again. But I haven't had anything. I mean, the worst thing that probably ever happened to me, and this was years ago, I had won a pair of these limited Hyper Dunks that they made for Kobe with lasering all over them. And
Okay.
they were only like $42. So it's not like I put a lot of money into this. And this is 2012, 2011. So this is Kobe still playing. He's still alive and everything. So, you know, those got stolen from out in front of my apartment. But that's really all I've got, fortunately. It's just that, you know, where I was money back, but now that shoe is like $1,000, so I'll never have it.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
You know,
If it wasn't worth much then, it's worth a lot now.
yeah, and it was one of those. I mean, I got lucky, but it was one of them Kobe's where it was expensive even while he was still alive. So it might be even more than that now. So it's like, yeah, I just wasn't meant to have those.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that.
But yeah, so um,
I think somebody asked what the rarest sneaker in our collections. I want to hear from you first. What's the rarest sneaker you got in your collection?
I say I'm gonna be like you here. When you say rare, in what sense of the word? Do you mean like they only made a couple of them, or rare like it's crazy old? You know, because off the rip, the first shoe I always think of is my 1985 neutral gray ones. That's probably the rarest. I have a couple of Kobe's that were like made for people that never actually released to the public. So it's a couple, but I'll probably just say those neutral gray ones because I found them at a thrift store and they were only like $2. So yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
All right. So recently I found a pair of their LeBrons, ironically enough, that I found on eBay that were like, you know, again, I don't mind used shoes. But I grabbed them because they're like a PE sample and it's nothing that I've ever seen before. And it's pretty girly. It's pink and black, but I'll go ahead and show them to y'all. I've never showed this pair before, but I was like, all right, I got something kind of exclusive, even more so than some of the other stuff. So I was like, yeah, why not? Let's go ahead and add it. And then I put my foot in it. It's so funny because it looks bulky, but it makes my foot look so tiny. I'm like, it's so weird. But yeah, this would probably be the rarest pair that I have right now. And this is the first time anybody's seeing it in the collection. So, a little extra, something extra for you.
Yeah. Yeah, they only made those, I feel like, for him and, you know, just a couple of folks. Those never came out. I was upset because the 7 is an anomaly because it's a bulky shoe and a sleek shoe at the same time. You know, you
Right.
just so but yeah, if y'all want, I can go into the archive and show y'all some stuff if y'all want, you know. So I can always do that. But yeah,
I mean, I'm down to see some stuff.
All right. All right.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. y'all. So let's see here. I'm trying to think of where I can put this where y'all will still be able to see me. So, let's see here. What can I show y'all that's rare? Um, really don't know where to start.
Yes, Kiki, we love show and tell. We're all ready to see what he got.
Huh. I was gonna show y'all these one LeBrons, but I don't. They aren't where they should be. All right, I'll let me come back here. All right, well I got one for y'all. These are actually out where I can get them. These are some LeBron.
We went on a whole field trip.
Yeah, these are the EYEBL LeBron
Those are
30.
dope.
Yeah.
You got a whole stock room back there, man.
My garage is even worse than this. These are some Kobe 2 strengths that
Okay.
were made for Westchester High School in Los Angeles. This is kind of like those on a level of those LeBrons you got where like they didn't really come out for the public. They only made them
Yep.
for people. So,
Those are dope.
I don't really know what else to show y'all. I have some vintage stuff too, but this room isn't clean like it should be. I didn't know we was coming in here, so y'all gotta forgive me. Okay, this is a random old school one here. This is the T-Bug. This is a Tim Hardaway shoe. It's like the takedown of the glove. These are from 1998.
Okay.
But we can go into the Jordan closet for a minute.
See, I love when people show me stuff that like I've never seen before, and especially when it's like classic stuff, like that just the history behind it all too. Like that stuff is history now. Like it's not just no sneaker you go grab, it's history.
Yeah. So now I feel you. Jordans. Well, I can show y'all these. These are an original pair of Jordan 10 steels with the toe cap that was recalled. I've worn these probably 1,000 times. Still got most of the words on the bottom for as long as I've had these.
Wow. Tens are so slept on.
OG Shadows from 1994, 95 as well. I still wear these, so my retro pair from 18 is still dead stock.
Okay.
These are semi-hyped, but not hyped for real. I don't know why people love these the way they do. I would much rather have the blue pair, but whenever I pull these denim 4s out, they're always a big deal.
Yeah, those are nice.
So, one of my favorite Jordans here, and this is actually a custom denim 6s that I bleached, and I took the tag from my OG DMPs from 2006 that crumbled, put them on here.
I love the denim pairs just because they are so easy to customize, and you'll never find a pair that's quite the same, whether it's how you bleach it or how you distress it. Like I love customizable stuff like that.
Yeah. Now, I know people are going to look down on this, but I do team Jordans as well. They
Okay.
have the like I love the Spizike. It took me a couple of years to warm up to it, but this is probably my favorite one, the Bordeaux Spizike, even though there's really no Bordeaux on this shoe. Maybe this part, but
I like Spizikes too, though.
Yeah.
It's like they're very like reminiscent of a 4.
Yeah, agreed. Got my custom Laney 2s here from a candy pack. A friend of mine made these for me, gave them to me.
Those are dope.
trying to think what else I could show y'all. That's
I mean, I can show a custom real quick since we
yeah,
have
show.
custom.
See, and see, we got to talk about that. The work that you do with the customs. You know, how long have you been customizing?
Like a year now.
Okay, seem to be pretty good at it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to like honk my own horn, but you know, I'm always been into art and doing all of that. It was just a matter of putting it on a shoe. Like I used to get commissioned to draw portraits and do like multiple, like people would have multiple family pictures and be like, all right, I need one big picture, and I would do that for them. So now it was just a matter of, all right, now I can convert it to sneakers and combine the two passions.
Yeah, hard. That's hard. All right. Well, I figured I'd show this too. Nobody really cares about mids, even though I love mids. I mean, they're just Jordan 1s to me. The Leroy Smith joints with the words and stuff all over it. Just something random before the one hype really started. Show me some heat, Miss Lynn. What you got over there next? I know you got something.
God, I don't even know where to start.
So much.
I know, and I'm in the closet, so then I got like everything else, and I got my phone set up on my tripod, so it's not quite so easy to grab and go like you just did.
Nah, I feel it.
I mean, I can pull these. This is my first pair of Dornbeckers. You got the eights there for you.
Okay.
I love me a good pair of eights though. I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and grab a couple pairs. I got the OVO eights. I got y'all gonna make me reach, man. I got the women's exclusive Valentine's Day. I love this shoe. And then the fact that it's got the words on the inside, the loves me not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this. So I love me some eights.
All right.
This one specifically, the OVO 8. Now it wasn't just about the hype. I actually hit on these on the OVO website when they released, and these are a size 8, which is a full size too big, but I think that was the smallest size that they had, and I really wanted them because, if you know Drake and you know OVO, his little symbol is the owl. So the fact that these had like the owls on them, and then they're all white, I mean, I may never wear this shoe because my best friend, who was killed like right before this shoe came out, her favorite animal was owls. Like I got the whole tattoo for her. And so this shoe is, to me, is like, it's all white. It's got the owls. It's kind of like having her here, and she never got to see me do any of this. So it's like having her here and be a part of this whole thing with me. So this shoe is probably my most sentimental shoe in the collection.
Condolences.
And I know Kiki, I know you can relate. So that's why I felt you on that battle. That last question you had, I felt that.
That flight turbulence. Shout out to my co-host QC Kiki Cutie, Keandra. We do a show every month called Reach Backs, where we talk about the stuff that we've reached back for and found. We always do it the last day of the month. So, she's probably definitely one of my best friends since I've been living in North Carolina. So definitely shout out to her. But I'm gonna show a few eights myself, if that's okay.
Okay. Show us what you got. This turned into show and telling. I love it.
Here, I'll be right back.
Latest pickup. Dang, why am I blanking my latest pickup was probably, I'd say my turtle doves were my latest pickup.
Yeah,
but yeah, I did not expect, listen, when I tell you I was sitting at work and I was like, it said do not refresh, I was like, I ain't doing nothing on my phone. I'm gonna let it sit here. and I'm gonna clear out work emails. And then all of a sudden, I was talking to my boss, who's a Yeezy fan. She don't like sneakers like that, but she likes Yeezys. And I was talking to her, and I was like, "You ever heard of the Turtle Doves?" And she's like, "I love that pair. I want it." I was like, "Well, today's Yeezy day," and I just hit on the Turtle Dove.